And we are live. It is 8:01 p.m. Eastern, 5:01 p.m. Pacific. It is October the 4th. Wow, we're already into October of 2020. Welcome to the Sunday Night Hang. I'm your host, Ben. And tonight I get to hang with my new friend, soon-to-be longtime friend, Sean Hurwitz. You may know him from band Smash Mouth. He's done some work with Enrique Iglesias. He's done some music production as well, folks. And you know what? He likes to talk gear. Welcome to the hang, Sean.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, man. And on that note, thanks to Vandy for hooking it up, for connecting between us. Yeah. I don't even know if he's on yet, but yes.
I did see him in the chat, and I believe awesome. Vandy Man is also the man who won my signature guitar.
Is that true? Vandy, let us know.
I do believe.
Well, I hope so, because you sent it to him, right?
I forwarded contact info to the builder, and I know it's him or somebody else, but I have a terrible memory. So, hey, I hope it was him. Let's see. Who do we have a bunch of people in the chat already. I'm going to do
your shout out.
Roll call here, everybody. If you want to get your shout out, you know how it works. We have Mr. Zach Thong first in the chat tonight out of Oshawa, Ontario, about an hour up the road from me. We have JP Page 2, who can't hang with us live because he's got to be up at 4 a.m. But I know he's watching the replay, so hopefully your day wasn't too tough. We got Mr. Tom in the chat, Thunder Falcon, Charles 75N, Jack Collins tuning in from Louisiana. Knucklehead Zero did, in fact, make it. The lovely Sandra. There's Vandy Man. Adam Finkel, local boy, soon to be rocker legend if all things play out right. I know how it is. We have I'll say it's early, uneffing believable. We'll see how the super chats go tonight. Maybe we'll say the full name. Rhodey's Jam Cave. Some guy named Sean Hurwitz. I don't know who that is. Yeah. Troll, I don't know. Who knows, right? Who knows? Oh, we have my cousin, Down and Back with Corn Dug, the #1 cornhole podcast on the whole Google, as far as I'm concerned. Now we have Bent Tom, so he changed his name back. Okay, he just got Bent again. All right, fair enough. Yes, he was Tom, and now he's Bent Tom. So, might need to see a chiropractor there. Craig Tomlinson's here. Thomas Santiago, the only man who gets his name sung. That's it. Mickey Stedelmeyer, Brad Miller, Papa Blue. Wow, we got a bunch. Janice Lala, Great Vanzini, Kunar, our Albanian assassin by way of Austria. Late night for Kunar. He set his alarm. Daniel Horsley, the Feel Button, Milk Tea, Blackjack Guitar Nut, Terry's 3Gs. My chat keeps skipping ahead. My lovely sister Amanda is here. Woo, Six String Brian, who may or may not be moved out to the east coast of Canada yet. I'm not sure. Awesome. So, yes, if you guys have any questions for myself or for Sean, tag us in the chat or throw some question marks or use the super chat or whatever you want to do. We're here to hang out, talk gear. We're talking off air before the show and what to expect. And it's like we went out to dinner and we're just talking gear over a good meal or a performance enhancing beverage.
You drink. I see real quick. We have Unfreaking Believable has a question. What was it like to work with Anna? I'm assuming they're talking about Anna Nalick. And it was great. It was short-lived because it was basically a promo for her second album. A Canuck named Randy Cook, one of my favorite drummers out there. Then they want to know what's on the pedal board. Okay, we'll get there.
I told you they're hardcore. They're hardcore.
Yeah, they go here. So he connected me. He got me the audition with Anna. I went, got it, and we went and did a promo tour for an album that never came out. It was a really great album. I had a blast with her, and it was awesome.
Awesome. Hey, Bill Spruce here, our newest channel member. Yeah, Janice, I do appreciate that. I did get the notification of the PayPal donation last week to help the channel keep going. So what's on the pedal board, studio, and tour? Well, see, now this is something I wanted to touch on at some point in the show because let's be honest, you've toured a variety of ways over the years. Things have changed, first of all, cartage alone. So it's like, we're not bringing refrigerator rack systems. We're not bringing the multi-cabs. We're trying to keep it easy.
Yes. So Where do I start though?
Well, let's talk about what's on your pedal board these days.
So right now, what's on my pedal board, which is not, it's in the garage, but my pedal board, the main pedal that I have on there is an AX8 by Fractal. Ooh, for those of you who are familiar with it.
Yep.
I'm using right here. This is my main rig here in the studio, the Kemper. And I do believe that, hopefully that's okay now. I do believe that I do enjoy both. At the time, I really love the Kemper and I was going to use it live, but they didn't have a pedal board that had the head in it. You know what I mean? They didn't have they didn't have everything all in one. Right. And I really wanted that all in one situation. So sure. Fractal hooked us up. I was working with Enrique at the time. We worked with Fractal and that was it. So I've had, and then I went back to Smash Mouth to my old board, and the problem was consistency. Right. You're playing different amps. You're playing the tech got it, but when you're working with in-ears, every little dB or two up or down makes a difference. It's not like when you're just jamming with your boys or your girls on stage. It really makes a difference. So it was becoming problematic.
And I would think even, when you reform a Smash Mouth, all of a sudden, instead of linked dates, like, legs of a tour, you're doing more fly-in dates. So backlines provided, you need that consistency.
Like one-offs and stuff. So yeah, the consistency wasn't there. So sorry, I'm just fixing this after the after the Kemper example. So after I did that for a few months, and then I just said, you know what, let's bring on the AX8, and I never looked back. I love the AX8, the Fractal stuff, and that's my main thing. Other than that, I have my pedal board also has my Sennheiser wirelesses. I've got a what are they called? They're like high-end ABY pedals. Radio? No. They're like from Sweden. 21? Oh, Sweden. No, I forget the name.
Look at you with your Sweden-made AB pedals.
I think maybe they're from Germany. I don't remember. It's somewhere in Europe. But so my old tech built it for me. So it's got that. I've got a TU3 on there. I've got a Mission pedal as an expression pedal. That's it. Really, it's super simple and convenient.
Nice. And getting your drive.
Lely, yes. Ben Tom says Lely. Yes, that's what it was. That's what it is.
Ben Tom knows all. He's good.
So Ben Tom, is Lely Swedish? What are they? Anyway, so that's what I have right now. That's sort of what I had on Enrique's gig, just a little different because I had 3 guitars, and so it's an ABC. And what else? We were using Shure wirelesses on that. Yeah, I think that's more or less it. Now, I used to use, hang on.
Yes, welcome all joining in tonight.
I used to use a bunch of these pedals. Does anyone know like MI Effects?
Ooh, MI, man, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, from Australia. I connected with, I'm blanking on his name.
Adriani?
Could it have been Tom? Not sure. Germany, I believe. So yeah, possibly they were from Germany. But these are from Australia, and I fell in love with them. And he hooked me up with a bunch of them, and just amazing. When I was touring with Iraq, not in Iraq, but with Iraq, I had a bunch of these suckers. I also had one, I don't know if you guys know, and I don't know if they see this upside like this.
Oh, no, they'll see it correct.
Okay, cool. So Jay Coloquia, I think he's from New York. Not sure if you guys know this one, Horace, and he may have another one by him, Big Cannoli. Anyway, when I had room for all of these, I'm just going to lie here for now. When I had room for all of them, I used to use them a lot.
Sure.
There we go. We can continue now. I can
go on. So we've got confirmed German company.
Yep, German.
Ben Tom knows the Crunch Box from MI. Nice. Brett Kingman uses MI stuff. Makes sense, being
love that stuff.
And shout out Hip Metal Works, tuning in from the west coast of Canada. Good to see you, man. Oh, yeah, we got quite the crowd. We got 41 already in here.
Awesome.
Mr. Milt, longtime friend, was asking a favorite venue you played with Smash Mouth.
With Smash Mouth specifically, or
and you played some interesting gigs with Smash Mouth, because during that whole rush, you guys were everywhere doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Okay, so I started playing with Smash Mouth in 2011, right? So if we're talking pre-2011,
true.
Then I wasn't there. But since I joined, the most interesting place I played with Smash Mouth, man, I played so many amazing gigs with them.
And I will admit, I did check out some live stuff, and the band's sounding tight. The band's sounding tighter.
It's a good band, man, with Randy Cook on drums, the Canuck. And actually, well, first of all, and we'll get to Canucks in a second. To answer the question, I have to say that my first run, 3-week run with Smash Mouth, was the most interesting. It was Iraq and Kuwait. I got a call. 4 days later, I was on a flight and to rehearse with the boys. And then next day we were off to Iraq and Kuwait to play for the troops for a few weeks. That was insane, if you can imagine it. So I think that to this day stays the most interesting gigs I've ever done.
I would think for anybody, that's got to be one of the more interesting gigs that you could do.
Well, dude, to me, so for those of you who don't know me, which I'm assuming most don't, I'm from Israel, born and raised, moved to LA when I was 23. And
I wasn't going to say it, but that's why you're like interesting. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when I was 11-ish, 10, 11, it was the Gulf War. And, and we were being bombarded by, Saddam Hussein. So, I grew up being 10, 11, the oldest of 3. My mother was there pregnant. My father's in the military. And, sirens are going off. You've got to put on your gas mask. This was going on for quite some time. Scary times. So years later, 30 years later, 20 years later, to be walking around in Saddam Hussein's, a few of his palaces, was, forget gigs, that was an experience of a lifetime. Like, how many Israeli citizens, I'm not talking about spies, I'm not talking about military
or anything.
Israeli citizens, how many Israeli citizens can say they walked in Saddam Hussein's palaces?
Right.
Walk out there. True. Yeah, you could walk in, but
hey, Doug Ward, good to see you. And I'm seeing Uneffing Believable was mentioning time with the Gin Blossoms.
Gin Blossoms.
How did that happen?
Yeah, well, really, that was on Under the Sun Tour 2013. I think it was, as well as 2014, possibly. It was Smash Mouth, Uncle Cracker, Gin Blossoms. The tours are getting mixed up for me, but I think it was Vertical Horizon. And I don't remember who the last one is for 2013, but Gin Blossoms and Smash Mouth got super tight. And Sugar Ray, oh my God, because we did it was a Sugar Ray thing. So it was Smash Mouth, Sugar Ray, and then the rest. Every night we would go, me and Paul, the bass player for Smash Mouth, went on and played with Gin Blossoms. We did Hey Jealousy. And It was freaking awesome. That's honestly the only times I performed. I mean, the only time I performed with them, I was never, they're like a band. They've always been together, but we would always bounce around different stages. Robin from Gin Blossoms came up and played with us. And it was a tour dynamic. So we all kind of got on each other's stages in one way or another. So that was my experience playing for them.
Nice. And to answer my cousin Doug's text message, ask away. And I see we got a super chat from the one, the only, one of my favorite screen names on YouTube, Boner Jams. Hey now, happy Sunday to all my poutine devourers and Manitoba love children. Great show to Darth Vapor and the other master of the spliff. Thanks for joining us tonight, Sean. Love you, Ben. Love you too, Boner Jams.
Boner Jams, that's amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. And Boner Jams had a great show last Wednesday night. His Metal Wednesday show with co-host Jay Hannon on the Johnny Bean channel. Check it out, folks. It was great. Awesome. And see, he always throws me off track. He does one of these.
I see Progressive Insurance commercial, but I'm sure I missed some other ones. What other questions did we have?
Music, welcome. And he did ask that earlier as well, or mention that earlier. Wanted to hear about it. He said he loved it, which all those commercials are amazing. But
awesome.
It's the campiness, the trip of it. And so what was that like?
It was awesome, man. We had a whole day of shooting. Flo came by and she's awesome. She brought a kid and I gave him some guitar picks and everyone was super cool. The only thing about that that was hard as the talent, like we're not doing anything, we just get up, was playing the same thing for about 130 times. I think that's the amount of takes that we did.
Sure.
They were trying different things. So we did it 20 times like this, and then we did it 30 times like that. And the crew worked so hard because if you look at that shoot, you'll see cannons going off, like paper cannons. And that happened 130 times. That happened every take.
Right.
And after every take, 5 people got on stage with blowers and blew it out. Oh my God. They worked hard.
No doubt. Yes. Hey, Fruitcake Tony, good to see you. Awesome. And yes, my cousin Doug wanted to mention a little tie-in. He says, I've had a former Uncle Cracker guitarist on my cornhole show, Brian James Schramm.
How do I know? I don't think I know. Uncle Cracker's had a few different guitarists. The guitarists that were there when I saw them, one of them is still there. One of them passed away, unfortunately, but they were both amazing guitarists, like really, really good.
Oh, dang. Bet Tom with the super chat, master of the spliff here. I guess that's related to, what was that, last week's show? No, 2 weeks ago. See, it was that good a show. Thanks to the almighty Darth Vapor and the steel-clad metal erectile jammer. So now we're having it's like a rap battle here between the super chats. Okay, sure.
I see someone asked, let me see if I can find it. Someone asked about Enrique. I saw his name.
I believe that was...
yes. How did the gig go with Enrique Iglesias? Or how did the gig with Enrique Iglesias come about? He seems like a really cool dude. Well, yeah, he is. The way that came about was it actually ties into Smash Mouth and doing those gigs in Iraq and Kuwait. I'm a hard worker. I'm not like an insane guitarist. I'm not a shredder, but I'm a hard worker and I do my job well. So I'll give myself that much. But when I came on board, I'm also a sound engineer by trade, learned it, worked at it. I do it every day in the studio, but I did it live for years.
Well, you got to have a day job, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And I loved it. I loved it. So I have an appreciation for crew, a very, very serious appreciation. You know, I've done it. I love them. I know how hard they work. I've done it. So when I came into Smash Mouth, I went to the sound engineer at the time, Eddie Kaipo. And I said to Eddie, you know, I went and I did a sound check with them. And I said, listen, Eddie, you've been on this gig for God knows how long. You know the sound. Like I got the vibe from him. He's a master at what he does. Actually, on my YouTube, I have an interview with him. You should check it out. Yeah, just Eddie Kaipo and Sean Hurwitz. It's really fascinating. We talk about monitors and all that stuff. But he is very good and very meticulous. And I said, Eddie, you've been doing this for a long time. Smash Mouth. If there's anything you need me to change, if there's a delay you want some more feedback on, if it needs to be louder, if you need some more compression on this sound, if the fuzz needs to be a little less dirty, anything you need, just tell me. I'm here to do a job. If you think I can do the job better, I'm all ears. he appreciated that very much. So, and he was like, this guy's cool. He pays attention to details. He's not just coming in doing whatever. He actually, you know, he appreciates what other people have done before him. And truthfully, I was coming and trying to do a great job, the best job I could at kind of recreating what Greg Camp did. I mean,
Sure.
That guy wrote and played all that stuff, and he's incredible and a super, super nice guy. So I'm really just showing, what is it? Showing homage to him. Is that how you say it?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm just trying
you're filling a role. You're not creating a role.
Exactly. As a hired gun, that's the job.
Yep.
So Eddie appreciated it. As the years went on, he always, I love that dude, and we get along amazing. And when he left and did Enrique Iglesias, he does monitors for Enrique. He does monitors for Gwen Stefani, Christina Aguilera for a while. He's done Enrique for probably like 6-7 years now. Anyway, so he's done a lot and still does. And when an opportunity opened, he always told me like, "Hey man, if anything opens up, I'll let you know." And an opportunity opened up. The lead guitarist of 7 years, Emmett, was leaving, and he hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, do you want me to throw your name in the hat?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So that was 2015 in March, and they really liked me, but we couldn't make it happen until August, and that's when I did it. The way it happened was I just auditioned. Once they saw me, they saw my website and stuff. They were like, "Okay, this guy's legit. Enrique likes the look, whatever, you know, he's seen some videos, liked what he saw." They contacted me, said, "Okay, so we'd love to get a video of you playing Bailamos, and we're going to send you the stems and then just play along to it, videotape it, and then send it to us." And that's how I got the gig.
Perfect. Nice.
Yeah.
It shows, you come into a situation, you're a team player, you show you're a pro, people remember that, like I'm a big believer in karma and paying it forward. And, and this guy, he's going to be mixing. He'd rather work with somebody that's easier to work with than not. And if he has any say in it, why not? Shout out, Quentin James has decided to show up, had his pizza, and now he's all full. Boner Jams was asking, who are some guitarists that influenced you when you started out, or any bands or groups, like people that we wouldn't expect you'd be into?
So we mentioned this before, and I always forget to mention him. Not always, but lately in interviews, I've forgotten to mention him, Tom Petty. So we'll get to that in a second. We got cable in Israel in the early 90s. So for me, Black or White from Michael Jackson was like mind blowing. It was my introduction to videos, to MTV. But then I saw Bon Jovi. So really, Richie Sambora was my,
nice.
He's someone. But when I grew up on Clapton. I grew up on Tom Petty. I grew up on all the stuff that my parents are from New York, and they went to Israel and had a family. They're still there. And whoever they played for me, Hendrix, Beatles, all that stuff. But I remember Tom Petty, man, that was okay. So I think that Richie Sambora and Clapton, which Clapton was an influence to Sambora, Richie Sambora and Clapton were a big influence on my playing. Musicality, Tom Petty, sure. And Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi was more like the sound influences, and Tom Petty was the music, the musicality, the what's it called? The melody structure. Sure.
Yeah.
Bryan Adams.
Yeah. Good Canadian boy.
Yep. And those are a few to name a few.
Yeah. It works out well for me. And so what's your guitar of choice when you're like, assuming you can play whatever guitar you want on stage?
Okay. They happen to be all behind me. We're looking at Shabbat Guitars, Shabbat. I don't know if anyone's familiar with them. He's actually doing amazing. Mike Campbell is amazing. I see Craig said that. Incredible. Mm-hmm. So Shabbat Guitars, my friend Avishai is from Israel as well. He lives in LA now and is a master luthier, just incredible. I've had that guitar since, I want to say 2013, and all the beat up shit that you see, hang on one second. This is all handmade. This is just me beating the crap out of this guitar.
Nice.
And I play, I mean, there's a groove here that's just, but yeah, so this is for those that might be interested, these are glow in the dark, because
and you like a nice neck, I can see.
Yeah. I play in the dark many times. You start
Sure.
playing and it's dark, and those are amazing. Just the tech shines the light on them right before, just like shh, and gives it to me, and they just glow.
Beautiful.
That is the red version of that other one. They are the Shabbat Lions, and then this right behind me is Shabbat Lynx, which, as you see, is more of a Fender, a Strat style. This
Sure.
I didn't do. This was made for me by Shabbat, by Avi.
Nice.
And same deal. I played a lot of In the Dark for like a minute.
And is that a roasted maple neck?
I don't know enough about the guitars as far as that goes. I'd have to ask Avi.
Awfully dark.
Well, yeah. So you see, this is the original. This is the original kind of color,
Okay.
and it is kind of dark. But then they scraped it down for me, and because I hate when it's really,
Glossy.
sticky.
Yeah.
No, not glass. I don't care how it looks, but when it gets sticky on, you play stages in the summer, and it's so uncomfortable, man.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable. So he took this one off, and let's see. Yeah, I mean, he's done that to all my guitars. If you can see here as well, what it was and what it is, and then it gets back to it.
Nice.
Same deal. Glow in the dark. This is not as smashed in, but
Give it time.
yeah, give it time. Exactly. And then there's this guitar, Maton Guitars, right? Not very tuned, but for those of you who are not familiar with Maton, they are an Australian company, and incredible guitars.
Nice.
Incredible guitars. So those are my excuse me. Those are my favorite guitars to use. One of the things I love about this guitar is it sounds incredible. It's hard to get a guitar that sounds great I use Eastman guitars. I'm looking at my Eastman guitars, the other wall, and I love them for recording with a mic. But you plug them in, and I can never get what I wanted. And I work with them on it, but I can never get it. When I plugged in that guitar, it sounds incredible in in-ears. Absolutely majestic. And that's why I loved it.
And that's all it is too, because if you hear it, you're going to be inspired to play that much more. You're going to get into it that much more. It's like people say, like I'll be playing bars locally when I still could, and why are you lugging all this gear out, when nobody knows, they don't care about the name on the headstock. They don't care about how boutique your pedal board is. It's like, yeah, but if I think I sound great, I'm going to play better as a result.
It's inspiring. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Bent Tom reports in, according to many guitarists in California, Avi Shabbat does the best fretwork and setup on the West Coast. Nice.
He's incredible. He's been doing he came here. He's a sound engineer in Israel, and we worked together in the live sound and studio stuff industry. And then he became a luthier, and he came here, and I was like, well, I'll give him a shot. Let me give him my 12 string at the time, a Seagull, which I believe is Canadian. Seagull 12 string. And it was actually my first guitar that I had bought when I landed here in 2003, and it was not doing well. 12 strings, there's a lot of tensions, pulling a lot. The action was high. I was like, if he can fix this, and he did amazing. And since then, he's the only one that touches my guitar, other than my techs for live shows.
Sure.
But I will mention these guitars, these 3 guitars that he makes. I get them set up once a year, maybe.
Sure.
Maybe. I almost never need it. They're just so well made that I just never need anything.
And that says something, because it's like, you're not a bedroom player where they're sitting in the same climate year round.
No.
You are putting them through the ultimate test.
Yeah,
hey, Adam D, Carly Hex. Sexy bearded Viking wizard, the badass Aussie. Man, love that name.
Well, does he know? G'day. Do you know Maiden Guitars, sexy bearded Viking wizard, badass Aussie?
Good question.
Yeah, actually, when I originally went with Smash Mouth, we did 2013. We went to Australia. Oh, thank you, Ben Tom. There's my interview with Eddie Kaipo. I appreciate it.
Nice.
And we were doing. They suddenly said, "Hey guys, we want you to do." We had, I don't know. We were there for a few weeks. We were doing shows, and they said, "Hey, we want you to do TV show, the morning show, basically." And we were just like, okay, like an acoustic thing. And we said, okay, we don't have any of our acoustic gear. So they said, don't worry, we'll backline it for you. Okay, so they brought me 2. They brought me, I don't remember what, and they brought me a Maiden. And I was like, Maiden? Did they just bring me a fake Martin? Like, for real? That's what they brought?
Right.
And then I played one chord, and I was like, oh, shit. Damn, this sounds really good. Tommy Emmanuel. Yep, exactly. Nice. So I actually, the one that I have is the Tommy Emmanuel model. That I think it's like TE 808, and it is incredible. I've had a few of them, and I love them all.
I like that. He says, sure do. My lyricist has one. And, we've had enough super chats, so I will say the name, and he would like you to as well. Unfucking Believable says, say my name, Sean. Please talk about the songwriting and selling process for licensing your music for TV shows, commercials, movies, etc. Done through agents, managers, directors?
Whew, that's complex. We'll keep it simple. Unfucking Believable. How you doing? Let me see. So, songwriting and selling process and licensing your music to TV shows. There are many different ways to go about this. If you know an agent, it doesn't really work with agents in that world. It works more if you know a director. Sure, you can get your music in. But if you don't, if you're just like me, if you're making music here and then you want to get into places, you work with music libraries. That's the 90% of it works through music libraries. And I'll keep it simple. I create. So I make the music. And then on the other side, they need the music for their TV show or their movie. But I don't know them. And me and you and all of you guys and a million other musicians are all trying to get into there. But we don't have the relationship. And this is all relationship based. So they have relationships with music libraries. Music libraries, for instance, one that I work with, Pink Shark Music here in LA, a friend of mine, Renat, she has made it my job is to make the music. Well, she does as well, but my job is to create, and her job is to create relationships. She's worked her ass off to create all these relationships with music supervisors, with all the people on the production side that need our music. So I put stuff in her library. She arranges it. She gets me to sign off everything. And then when Mr. or Mrs. X come to her and say, hey, we need an acoustic vibe for this show or this commercial or something, she's like, okay, let me send you what I've got. And one of those is mine because I have that. And then and it's their choice to choose whatever they want. If they choose mine, 9 months later, I get, hopefully I get some money up front, but if not, 9 months later, I get money on the back end from, in my case, BMI, but ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, or any other PRO that works for you and gets you royalties. And that's that's it. That's all there is to it. I'm happy to answer more into that. It doesn't really have to do with agents. It doesn't really have to do with managers, not this side of thing. That's more on the live, and I'm an artist. I want to get stuff out there. That's more on that side. I hope that answers it.
Yeah, we got Dwight Bailey joining us. Awesome.
I see.
Who else I see in here? I saw Nikki Brooks tuning in from New Zealand. Awesome. Anthony Roscoe, welcome.
I see someone asked if I have had the opportunity to check out Cole Clark Acoustics. I have not.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I've seen Shabbat's guitars before. If possibly at a NAMM show.
Oh, yeah. He's been at NAMM for probably the last 6-7 years.
Then probably. Although NAMM gets a little fuzzy afternoon for some reason.
Dude.
I don't know.
How many guitars can you afternoon of which day? Day one?
Mm-hmm. Although, this year was a crapshoot from the get-go, considering we went to the Gibson party the Wednesday night before day one. So we were hungover for morning of day one. So yay, fun.
By the way, for what it's worth, I have mentioned a few YouTube things just to let you guys know. I have a YouTube channel. Would love for you to check. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, thank you. And I think Ben Tom put a few links to it. It's there to do two things. First of all, I'm there to give you whatever you want. So if you have any ideas that you want me to do, I'm happy to do it. I've done like a tutorial for Smash Mouth's All-Star. I've done a tutorial for Hero with Enrique Iglesias, but I also do a lot about the music business because I want to help other people get licenses to TV and film, although I haven't done that video yet. But I talk about contracts. I talk about what it is to be a hired gun. I talk about, a bunch of different things. And there's also a lot of live footage of me playing with Smash Mouth and with Enrique. So please go check it out. If you like it, subscribe, and share it with people because that's what it's there for.
Nice. Good question. Unfucking believable. How's Sean managing during the pandemic? Because let's be honest, as musicians, 2020 is nothing like 2019
or any other year before that, and 2021 is not shaping up to be too amazing either. But we'll see.
Not too much.
I am a diversified entrepreneur. I am a businessman, so I have real estate investments, I have market investments, I have royalties coming in from music that I've done for years and years and years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs. I'm continually making, or continuously, I don't know which one is the correct one, but either way, I'm making a lot of music. The goal is 200 instrumental songs a year. I have not reached that any of the years that I've tried for the last 2-3 years. This year, I'm only up to 100 because YouTube became a big part of life. So yeah, that's how I'm managing. I have an amazing wife, Trisha. She works from home, and so she's taking care of a lot of this. But yes, something I allude to in many of my videos is diversification is very important if you want to be a musician, if you want to be a career musician.
I agree. It's amazing because you can get, however many levels we want to call it in a career, it's still very much garage band. You got to pull from 10 different places to make that living, whether you're playing in bars or you're playing fly-in gigs. You can't just write a hit, give it to the great machine that's going to do this huge infrastructure and blast it all over the radio and MTV or what have you. And no, it's all DIY.
It reminds me of Amanda. I see you subbed and followed. Thank you so much. It reminds me, I talk about this in one of my videos. I don't remember which one, but I mentioned I was in this band, and friends, but I was getting paid, but they were also friends. But I remember one time we were coming back from a gig. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't anything. I'm like crazy sober. And that's just me. I know you can do whatever you want. Like I've never met anyone like me on the road.
Well, usually they're there, but they have quite the story to tell, and they're on the other side of something.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. So yes, I do know people that have stopped for different reasons, but I never started. So the point is, why am I saying this? I'm always the designated driver. If I'm in a band and we're driving, it's not a bus, it's not a flight, we're driving, it's not a big production, I'm going to be the designated driver, and I'm happy to do it. But I remember one time we were coming back from San Diego, and the drummer in the band had mentioned, man, I can't wait till we blow up and I can sleep in and I was like, dude, what are you talking about? When you get signed, that's when the work starts. You'll be up at 4:00 in the morning, getting ready for your morning show that you have to go play. Then you're going to eat something. Then you're going to go to the radio show. Then you're going to go to sound check. Then you're going to go rest for an hour if you're lucky. Then some dinner. And then you have a show to get to. And then rinse and repeat the next day. It doesn't get easier. In fact, someone just put $1 million into you, or 100,000, whatever the number is. You owe them that money now. Yeah. So they're going to put you to work. This is not going to become easier. This is right now you're experiencing the easy part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, speaking of San Diego, there's SD Design in the house. Good to see you, man.
SD.
Nice. We were hanging out together in Pete Thorne's live stream earlier today. Speaking of hired guns.
Yeah,
and a good Canadian boy.
Dude, I mean, Pete, I don't know Pete. Well, I mean, I've met him, but he wouldn't know me, I don't think. But first of all, yes, obviously, what an incredible guitarist. But I think he played with Chris Cornell, right?
That he did.
Right. So when he played with Chris, my friend Jason Sutter, who I played with Smash Mouth for a few years, who I played in with Smash Mouth for a few years. So Jason, that's how I sort of know about Pete Thorne, and man, what an incredible guitarist. I actually watched your YouTube with him, and that guy is just Jesus.
The show, you mean? We jumped on like we did beforehand. I'm like, are you okay to do an hour? You went, fuck that, we're doing at least 2. I went, okay, sure.
And I think it was 2.5, right?
2.5, yeah. Hey, Han 36 Solo, good to see you, my friend. Dane, Zim's Guitars, good to see you. Marty V, late night in the Netherlands. Man, we are global. We're all over tonight. This is good.
Netherlands. My brother actually lives in the Netherlands right now for a few years. My brother and his family in not Sweden. No. What was it? I don't remember. I forget. It'll come to me. I see someone asked. I worked for a band called Hired Gun. That's awesome. Thunder Falcon. Unfucking believable. Toughest song to play live and why? That is a very simple answer. Padrino by Smash Mouth. Does anyone know it?
That rings a bell.
Dude.
Why? Yes, that does ring a bell.
It is a crazy fast song. I know it's not a wise thing to do. Writing funny stuff about the mob. But if it's all saying to you, that's the tempo. And it's
right.
Now, there we go. You know it. And but the intro to it, first of all, masterpiece. I mean, I had to contact Greg when they told me to learn that one. I was like, what the hell is this? And I hit Greg up, the guy that wrote it, and I was like, dude, I mean, wow, this is an absolute masterpiece as an artist. I mean, amazing. And it's very hard to play standing up with a guitar down, like down here, it's when I'm sitting down, no problem, because he plays it so fast. I mean, it's a lot of, I forget the technical word for it, but it's a lot of Van Halen. It's a lot of that. What is that called? Come on, guys. Trilling? Is that what it is? Trilling?
Could be trilling. Yes.
I think so. I think when I've seen it in
Ben Coombs says Padrino is the coolest Spanish guitar intro.
Dude, incredible. And it is Spanish, but it's not Spanish. It's kind of like, it's all about the mob. So it's Italian, but it is an amazing tremolo picking. Yeah, there you go. Tremolo picking. So it's a really great thing to play sitting down, but playing it live, standing up, my God, that is not easy.
And people will just think, cursory, oh, Smash Mouth, aren't you just playing ska? Aren't you just doing upstrokes all night? No.
As well, but no, Greg did some amazing stuff. They're so, if you get into it, they're so ska and punk driven. Yes, All-Star, Believer, their covers did amazing, but 311, I feel like I was in Detroit. We were on tour and we went to see 311 play. Anyway, I
like that Rockabilly on Crack.
Yeah, Rockabilly. That sounds about right. Yeah, Rockabilly on Crack, and it's some of the stuff is super hard to play, but super fun. Well, there was another one. I forget which one it was, but Padrino by far hardest one to play live.
Nice. Hey, Joe Hervey 84. Yeah, we got over 60 people watching, 40 thumbs ups on the stream. Appreciate it, folks. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I was thinking, I was, like I say, doing a little checking around, but I didn't want to deep dive too much, keep things fresh. But when I was kind of looking at the resume, Smash Mouth, Enrique Iglesias, the first name that came to mind, not that your playing style would be necessarily the same, but was, and I'm not even sure if you're familiar with him, but a good friend of mine as well as the channel, RJ Ronquillo, another hired gun.
I don't know. Where's he from?
He's done everything from he played with Ricky Martin for a while to doing a tour with Stone Cherry, even or Black Stone Cherry, or Stone Sour. Stone Sour. I always get those bands all mixed up. Yeah, like a wide variety, and now he's living in Nashville and off the road doing YouTube full time.
Yeah, wow. I know a guy that's been the guitarist that's been playing for Ricky. A guitarist that's been playing for Ricky. I don't know how many guitarists he's got, but one of the guitarists that's been playing for Ricky is Jason Nagao, and I know him because he played with me on. He's an incredible musician. I mean, piano player, singer, saxophone player. I mean, he's one of those multi-instrumentalists that plays everything, and he played with Enrique for a while, so I know him from there. And they still play with Ricky. In fact, I thought I was going to get a call this year. Enrique was going out. I didn't know if I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but Ricky Martin and Enrique were going out, and I'm pretty sure Jason was going to be playing with Ricky. So I was thinking I might get a call to sub for that for Jason for that tour.
Sure.
And then COVID hit. That was at the beginning of the year. I was like, wonder if I'll get a call. Nope, COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so lots of awesome questions here. Somebody had asked, here is Unfucking Believable asks, what's Sean using for studio monitors?
Sean is using, you can see the KRK VXT6, but that's just what I use to bump up a lot of volume. I'm using vintage NS10Ms right here. You can't see them, but here, I'll show you them real quick. There you go. Yamahas. I've been using them for a long time, and I use these little crappy ones for reference as well.
Always a good idea.
Yeah, and but my main ones are the NS10s, and then I have the other ones. I also have a sub because I do a lot of hip hop, and I want to make sure that I'm hitting those low notes. Always
see attention and detail. It's the key. It's the key to that.
Absolutely.
And yes, I agree. Ricky and Enrique together would fill stadiums. That'd be it.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a stadium tour, and they've switched it to 2021. Who knows? Maybe I might end up doing it. I mean, I'd be happy to. Last year, I left Enrique and came back to Smash Mouth simply because Enrique wasn't working enough. I actually mentioned this in a live stream I did yesterday on Instagram with my boy Alex Feder.
Nice.
That used to play with me. He was the original rhythm guitarist for the most part, the rhythm guitarist location. He's got some solos in the Enrique camp until he left. Then Jason came in and played, Jason Nagao from Ricky Martin. But why was I talking about that? Why was I mentioning him? I forget. Say again?
For next year?
Right, for next year. Well, I don't remember why exactly I mentioned Alex, but we're talking about why we left Enrique, and I left Enrique simply because there wasn't enough work, and Smash Mouth had a killer 2019, so they hit me up. I was like, yeah, sure, let's work. Let's make it happen. But the fact is, I didn't end it on a bad note with the Enrique camp. I was just like, we got to go our own ways for now, but I would love to come back and do some subbing. They hit me up to do some subbing that I couldn't do, but I would love to do that. So we'll see.
Nice, nice. Here's our good friend Lawrence, Mr. Pedals himself, LPD Pedals in the house.
Pedals, I saw some videos you did with him.
Yes, maker of the Ben Coombs signature. Nice drive, eh? Still available while quantities last.
Awesome.
There we go. Shameless plugs. Got to do it.
Tom DeLonge lives up the road in Encinitas. What other questions did we have?
I don't know. I think we're almost caught up here, which is awesome.
SD Design. So San Diego, right? But what do you design? Yeah. Pedals or?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Then we've got LPD Pedals. I wonder what he designs.
Yeah.
The last president.
Goodness. A magic. He is one, I will say, hands down, because played a lot of pedals over the years, and he makes the best amp in a box pedals out there.
Really?
Yeah. He does the LPD 87, 2-channel. The first side's like your JCM 800. Beautiful, everything 70s up in the 80s tone. You flip it over, and then it becomes a Jose modded Marshall.
Wow.
And that pedal is appearing on a lot of guys' boards because, you know, if you want that heavy, saturated Marshall-y tone, and man, it makes my Blues Deluxe sound like a Marshall.
Well, here's the question. Has what's his name done a video for it? We were just talking about him. played with
Pete Thorne?
Yes, Pete Thorne. Has Pete Thorne done a I was thinking Tim Pierce. But has Pete Thorne done a video with it?
Not yet. He should.
What do we get? Let's get that going.
I know. We've got demos out. I haven't done one yet, but yeah, what does that mean? But RJ Ronquillo has done one. I believe Rhett Shull has used it in some of his videos. Oh, and the gentleman whose name I forgot last week, and I feel terrible about it. Let me think here. Aha, yeah. Lawrence needs to get Sean on the LPD 87 train. I like that.
Where was that?
Ben Tom was mentioning that he's hinting Lawrence needs to get you on the LPD 87 train. Sean Tubbs, thank you. Yes, I always forget Sean Tubbs' name.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'm always down to try new things. Stephen Douglas, I hope I'm saying the name right. Stephen or Stefan. Go-to amp. That's an easy one, man. Bogner Shiva.
Nice.
That's been my crush since it's not the one I use live with Smash Mouth. I use triple rectifiers. Sometimes it's dual, but usually triple rectifiers on the big stages with Smash Mouth, simply because it is not easy to get. I play a stereo rig, so it's really hard to get that going, to get a two Bogners that are alike. You may have one Shiva available. They may bring you a Shiva and an Ecstasy. They may not have Bogner. It's such a boutique company.
Sure.
It's almost like trying to backline a Shabbat guitar. They probably don't have it because it's such a boutique company, but they'll have a Fender Stratocaster.
Right.
You know? So that's the same thing. I'd love to have Bogners with me on the road. EL34s, Bogner Shivas, Shiva Bogner. But I usually end up playing a clean 6L6 triple rectifier, two of those in stereo. That's what I'm usually playing live.
Nice. Very nice. And I saw a few comments here. Let's see here. Unfucking Believable has 2 LPD pedals on the way. He bought the Nice Drive A and the Unnamed Delay pedal. Very nice.
Is that the name of it? Unnamed Delay?
Well, he just announced it on my show last week that he was going to develop a delay. I wasn't even aware of this myself, so he dropped that knowledge. And Unbelievable already put in an order for one, and he's already sold out of his Luster, which sounds like a Top Boost AC30. He announced the release of that on Friday, and he's already sold out.
Wow, that's awesome. Good for you, LPD Pedals. Really cool.
Nice.
Use double stops. Collective Soul and Mark Knopfler use double stops like Sean Hurwitz. You know what, Mark Knopfler, that's a good name to mention listening to.
Sure.
That I always forget. Unbelievable. No, Steven says, which Shiva, the 20th anniversary? That's been my main gigging app for the past 5 years. I got mine in 2004, so it's not the 20th anniversary. It may have been the 2-year anniversary. But, or no, so 5 years. That's 2015. So they started in 95. So I guess 7-year anniversary, or no, I'm sorry, 9-year anniversary. That's the one that I have. It's I don't have it on display here, but then also there's the deluxe here. That's just my go-to if I need to play in the studio. But really, if anyone didn't watch, my main thing is a Kemper Profiler in the studio. I get some incredible tones with it. Incredible.
And that's the thing. And when you've gone like with using a Kemper or the Axfex 8, you can backline a couple Hot Rod Deluxes even. Because they're consistent. You can do a stereo.
I love them, but they don't have enough headroom for the big stages.
Interesting. Okay.
That's the only thing. Steve Harwell. Someone asked if Steve Harwell is cool. I don't remember who it was. Who was it? Steve Harwell is awesome. He's a good dude. And Steve loves guitar. Loves guitar. So I always need to crank it up. And if you take a guitar, if you take an amp that, I mean, I don't know how much headroom does that thing have? Like how many watts is one of those? They're not
40,
that much. What are they, 50 or something?
Yeah, 40, 50.
Yeah, so I need a lot of headroom. I need to be able to have loud.
That's impressive, though. I think I know you're the first person on this channel that's ever said I need more headroom when in talking about a Fender amp of any kind, because usually, by the time they start to break up, it hurts the ears.
Yes, but on the big stages, I'm not talking about a club or like a bar or like on the big
just
stages.
Washes out.
Yeah, it really, like, they're 20 feet behind me. They're 30 to 40 feet away from him. Sure. He wants to hear it. So I need, when I go to all those clean, or why can't we be friends, all those clean ska parts, it needs to be clean. It can't be broken up. But I understand where you're coming from. I basically need a Fender Twin level, but I don't like Fender Twins.
Oh, there we are.
I mean, I just don't like Fender Twins for my setup. It never sounded good with my playing. I've heard people play with it and it sounds incredible. I'm more of I don't know why it's different. I'm assuming it's the tubes and the mechanics of it, but there's something smooth about the DeVilles and the Deluxes that, I really dig those.
Interesting.
Yeah. I
guess it's just your vintage Fender Super Reverbs then.
I think I've used those a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. I just pity the fool has to move one.
So LPD, this is not for me, but LPD Pedals, how can you see the color stripes on tiny resistors? I have a huge magnifying glass and still can't tell what I'm looking at. I wonder what he'll say. SD Design, I still want to know what you're designing.
I think it's going to be, he'll tell him to use a multimeter, because that's what he told me last week, because I'm in the process of building an LPD pedal kit, and not only can I not read the stripes on the micro-sized resistors, I'm also partially colorblind. So
then that's so
it's a lot of best guess, and then he's just like, build it, I want to see the results. It's like, okay, all right, my sister has to head out. See you, sis. Say goodnight to the girls for me.
SD Design says architecture. That's very cool.
Very cool.
And who was it? I think it was Steven that asked about vintage 30s. Yeah, I've got vintage 30s in my Shiva cabinet.
Nice. And
so I have a head in the cabinet.
He had a Bogner amp as well.
Yeah, I think he had a Shiva 20th anniversary. Sandra, is that your sister?
No, he had the Ecstasy 101B.
Oh, dude, I love that. I love the Ecstasy. I never had one, but I love them. I see Sandra a little shout out from my YouTube page. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandra.
What is Sean working on now? Solo music. I am working on library music, so just a lot of stuff for actually, let me pull some stuff up, let you guys sort of hear it. I don't know if it'll be possible, but
I was gonna say I write both kinds of music, intros and outros.
So just stuff for, let me see, stuff
the
for
feel button,
for TV and film, basically. I'm starting to get into gaming as well. So let's see.
Eddie Van Haskell?
Huh?
Oh, I'm just shouting out various folks that are jumping in here. We got Music Therapy Laz, my Hungarian homie, who drove down from the Bay Area all the way down to Anaheim for NAMM without a pass, because that's how he rolls.
Damn. It's like winging it. So I've done stuff from, like, let's see what this one is. Can you hear that okay?
Oh, yeah. I'm digging it.
And then, like, so I did it. That's an album that's coming out soon. That we did some funky stuff with my boy Carlos Sosa. But you know, I do all kinds of stuff from acoustic feel good stuff to, let's see, this is some rock that I did. Or let's see if I they get busier as the track goes on. But yeah, that's, so I just doing a lot of that stuff at home.
Sure. I get it. Yeah, get a bunch of compliments here in the chat. Nice.
Thank you.
Do you play ukulele live in keys?
I don't play ukulele live. I'm staring at my ukulele. I'm staring at my mandolin. And I have a banjo, you know, a 6-string banjo here. And I play keys, but I don't do any of that live. And honestly, whenever I have to pick up the uke or the mandolin, since they're tuned differently, I know what I want to hear. I know the sound that I want to hear, and I know the part that I want to hear, so I just learn it on the spot. I don't really know. So this song is in C, so these are the chords available. No, I don't know how to play the chords there. Every time I relearn it.
Sounds like something I would do. Totally sounds like something I would do.
I mean, because I just need the sound. I don't need to learn how to play this thing. I just, once in a while, I need it, you know? Yeah. Have you worked with Mitch Allen around LA? He's a local boy from Baltimore. I grew up with him and his band. I have not. No. Wonder who that is. Reno Fin Custom Guitars. What is that?
That is the manufacturer of my signature guitar.
Oh.
Here, I'll grab it. Why not?
There we go.
Since we like shameless plugs and all.
Custom Gallery.
So, like you, I share an affinity for a certain body shape. I do enjoy playing.
Yeah, and I was just seeing it on stage. I'm on the website. Beautiful. Nice. So tell me about that guitar. I'm sure everyone's heard about that guitar, but tell me a little real quick. Give me
for those that are new to the channel and for Sean, it is Canadian made in Victoria, British Columbia by my buddy Travis. Honduran mahogany body, Canadian maple neck, unfinished, because we can blame Eddie Van Halen for that. I fell in love with a raw maple neck. Hand wound pickups by Travis himself, P90s. The bridge is overwound. The neck is not. 4-way selector switch, so you do have that one position for the out of phase stratty type tones.
Yep.
Which is a mod I do to all my tellies anyways. And we've also added in a Tesi Switch kill switch, because why not? Rob at Tesi Switch, great guy and friend of the channel, and I'm a Tesi artist, so threw in a kill switch.
The only let me see here. The only P90 that I have, P90 guitar, is LSL Instruments. Also, I have a few guitars by LSL Instruments. Nice. They made this for me, I want to say 2012, and it's incredible. Actually, we mentioned Avi Shabbat, the guitars that you see up there that I use with Enrique and Smash Mouth. I hadn't had this set up in quite some time, and it was bad, man. I mean, I wasn't using it. It was just like, ugh. And he just set it up. Oh my God. Just incredible.
But that's Ben Coombs has an LSL.
Oh, which one?
The Sadakoi.
Which I'm trying to remember which one that is.
LPD
I have.
Pedals says LSL are nice guitars.
No. Yeah, they're very nice. I forget the name, but I've got this one. Just the regular Telly. They made this for me. They made this one for me. In 4 days for the tour that I mentioned, 2011 with Smash Mouth in Iraq and Kuwait. I was like, guys, I need a guitar. Like I need an E flat, I need an E flat, and I need the Les Paul. So I had a Les Paul and I had my Strat, and I needed a Telly. And I was like, do you guys want to make it for me? And I think if you go, let's check this out. If you go to LSL Instruments, on the main page, unless they changed it. They changed how it looks. They used to have a picture of mine from 2011 on the main page.
Nice. And Tom says the Sadakoi is the Strat style triple single.
Oh, dude, beautiful. Yeah, Sadakoi is triple single. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Keep those questions coming, folks. We'll go for another 20 minutes or so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the questions. Again, thanks for having me. And to mention again, if you guys want to look at anything else, I have the YouTube channel. I'm very interested in anything that I can help with, whether it's business or tutorials. I do some Smash Mouth stuff, some Enrique stuff, and always looking for more stuff. So yeah, hopefully people have some.
And I see it. Yeah, we got our mod squad in here, and the moderators posting links to various things, including your YouTube, Instagram.
Yes, thank you.
Of cool stuff.
And I see SD Design picked up on an Israeli accent. I don't know what he's talking about, but it's okay.
What newer bands do you listen to? Boner Jams asks.
Well, I don't know many newer bands, but we don't have country music in Israel. Speaking of, right? Not a New York accent. I get a New York accent. SD Design. I get a New York accent when I'm on the East Coast because my parents are from New York, so I have that when I'm in New York and on the East Coast. I get that. But what were we talking about?
Country.
Yes, country. We don't have country there. When I discovered Keith Urban here in like 2010, oh my God, I love that dude. Just incredible. Vandy Man, what's going on? So I get Keith Urban is someone that I really like, not new, but not something I was listening to even in the early 2000s. Definitely not the 90s.
See you, Lawrence. He's got to go build more pedals. I guess it was just a break.
Nice to meet you.
And good to see you. Want to be a guitar god?
Steven wants to know what pedals consistently make it on my board regardless of a gig. That's easy. A TU3. It's easy. I always have an expression pedal and a momentary pedal to switch things on and off, and a TU3. I'm not sure if that's what they wanted to hear, but so yeah, I don't know if I listen to a bunch of new stuff, specifically artists. I'll listen to specific songs that really grab me, but like singles, but it's been a long time since there's been an album that really grabbed me. I think the last one was like was Fall Out Boy, something with rock and roll. I forget the full name of it, but I listen to that all the time. Ben says, I always hear an Israeli accent when I hear Sklepi Koko from Don't Mess with the Zon. This is correct. Don't Mess with the Zon is one of my favorite movies. It is amazing. It's the best.
The best.
The best. It's the best. For those of you who know it. If you don't know it, watch it. It's hilarious. Some Israelis hate it. Some Israelis like it.
Yeah, and those who hate it, they need to laugh more.
Yes, I agree. No, we love my wife and I love that movie. Watch it probably once every half a year or so.
Beautiful.
Simply because it's the best.
Exactly.
What else we got? Who wants to know what?
Yeah, good question. Okay, see you, Knucklehead. Have a good one, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
We
thanks for
got
coming.
55 people watching. Keep those quiet. Come on, folks. I did crack a second beer here because Sean said he was going to drive. So come on now.
Exactly. Thunder Falcon says, can't wait to see the business side of it on Sean's channel. Thunder Falcon, if there's, I do a lot of stuff on there, but I'm always looking for more. So if there's something you want to know, please just comment. Just comment. I answer everyone. Actually, it's a good point to let people know. If you have any questions I'm not answering here, I answer everyone. Instagram is the best way to reach out to me, but SeanHurwitz.com, all my links are on there. Instagram is the best way to reach out to me. I answer everyone. And YouTube, obviously, answer things like if I talk about something on a video and you want to know more about it, just comment. I see it all. I manage all of that, and you get me directly. And I'll let you. I'll get back to you.
I want to welcome a good channel supporter here, Absolute Mayhem. He's been busy at work harvesting. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It is that time of year, and he can legally harvest now in Canada. So there we are. He asked, "Does Sean have any YouTube collabs in the works?"
I'll let him know. But before that, I'll just answer Adam. How did you first get involved with Smash Mouth? I mentioned before a Canuck named Randy Cook. That rhymes. And an incredible drummer that I had the honor of meeting in about 2006, I want to say. We've been dear friends ever since. And he called me in 2000. I had played in a few different gigs with him. And other than connecting me with Anna Nalick, he also called me when they needed a guy very fast. Within 4 or 5 days, they were flying out. And there was something happened with the guitarist and he didn't want to go. So he called me right away, and that's how I got to Smash Mouth. So thank you, Randy. Nice. So does Sean have any YouTube collabs in the works? Many, actually. I just did one. I don't know if it would interest some of you or not, but so I played with Enrique for a long time, 4 years. And I just did a collaboration with David DiMuzio. I haven't posted it yet, but if you go to David DiMuzio, it sounds exactly like DiMuzio. On YouTube, I just did a collaboration with him. Actually, I posted it on my link tree as well. For the song Hero, we did a cover. I'm also doing some original stuff. There's another gentleman, Sanjay C. So I'm doing some original stuff with other YouTubers that is not out yet. There's Sanjay C. That is a YouTuber that just did some stuff for Complete 13, I think, is coming out, and he just did their main presentation. So that just came out. I'm working with him. We're doing the first video we're doing is kind of a tour of my studio, so that'll be out and you get to see that. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of collaborations. I love collaborations.
Beautiful. Wow. Okay, now they're just pouring in. Favorite Pantera song, Sandra asks.
The one that goes a long time ago, I never knew myself, right? That one.
Yep.
But man, I love all their stuff. But that one blows me away just because, not because of Dimebag, but because the drummer, the bass drum pattern there. I've yet to figure out what the fuck he's doing there.
Yeah.
And by the way, side note, Pantera is what I listen to when I'm getting any of my teeth drilled. Put in my in-ears and just blast Pantera. That's my go-to.
There we go. Becoming. Yes.
Becoming. Yes, that's it. SD Design. Have you ever met Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Janet Jackson? No to all of those. Unfortunately, I would be happy to meet any of them. Do you use isolation cabs? Any recommendations? I do use an isolation cab. This is it right here. That is my isolation cab, a Kemper Profiler.
There we go.
So no, I don't have. That's a fancy and stupid way of saying no. I don't use isolation cabs. Looked into them, but I don't have one to recommend. Sorry, Ben Tom. Thank you for pointing that stuff out. Thank you.
Awesome.
What else do we have?
Pickups for on Acoustic Live. How do you manage the feedback on larger stages?
I manage the So who asked this?
Unfucking believable.
Which one?
Unfucking believable.
Fucking unbelievable. Did you ever play a very big stage? Have you ever done that? Because if you do, it's not usually. If you played a big stage, you're probably using in-ears in the last 10 years. And when you're using in-ears, you don't have that problem. You hear yourself perfectly. Like if I was playing the song Hero on stage, you know, the dum ba da da dum, and you came right by me, you would not hear it because the stadium is so loud. But on the stage, you could barely hear the guitar. You hear the drums, you hear the percussion, but you barely hear any guitar. So all that to say, it's not actually that loud on stage, so there's no feedback. Yes, but before in-ears. So yes, before. So Unfucking Believable has played the big stages, but without in-ears. In-ears change everything. And someone, I mentioned this before, and someone posted it. I think it was Ben Tom, a video that I did with Enrique's monitor engineer Eddie Kaipo, and the guy that got me put my name in for that gig. Put my name in for that gig, and he's an incredible guy. He's a guy to ask about that stuff. But no, I don't struggle with that. I've never struggled with that live. As far as pickups, again, I'll point out this Maton guitar is incredible. And one of the things I like about it, it's the Tommy Emmanuel model, Maton guitar from Australia. One of the things that I love about it is how, and I'm speaking as an engineer now, how flat it is. It doesn't have an insane amount of highs. It doesn't have an insane amount. It's not very boomy. It has just the exact perfect amount of bass, mids, and sparkling highs. It is
beautiful.
And they make their own proprietary preamp, and it is incredible. So that's that. What else we got?
Ben Tom wants to thank you for using the best color for a Strat style guitar,
which is that one. I also have where is it? This is a guitar. The only guitar I brought with me. This is actually a Fender Strat, US made, that I bought in Israel. That I switched. That was just a black and white. I switched this out and put a humbucker here. I don't remember what humbucker it is, but yeah, this one has been with me. It's the only guitar I brought from Israel, so I do have that one as well.
Nice.
Just plain black and white.
Hello and welcome to Seven Tiger Owl. Asks if you've heard of Rob Baker or Ian Thornley from Canada.
I actually have heard those names. I'm not sure why. I'm not making the connection right now.
Ian Thornley plays with Big Wreck,
okay,
who finally, after 20 plus years of fame in Canada, finally broke big. Rest of the world in the last 5 years.
That's awesome.
And Rob Baker plays with a very iconic Canadian band, the Tragically Hip.
Okay, cool. I don't know either of those bands, but I do
huge
know
in Canada. Never really broke big outside of Canada. And hello to Emma, lovely Emma, tuning in late night from England. Nice.
Oh, hey England, what's going on?
Only 2:28 or 2:20 a.m. there. Nice. And Keith H states, my son just walked in and is educating me on what a great bunch of guys all the Smash Mouth family is, and just super charitable they are, and how Sean is know yet to respond to all. Known to respond to all.
Thank you very much. Tell your son I said hi, Keith. I see SD Designs SD Design has Pearl Jam and Smash Mouth 2021. Man, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't
I mean,
that be a fun
talk
show?
about a band that I grew up on. I would love. My favorite thing is when people tell me, "Oh man, I grew up on," like the fans. They'll be like, "Oh, I grew up on Smash Mouth." I'm like, "Me too." So I would love to play with Pearl Jam. That would be incredible.
Yes, the 90s were a wonderful time. And as my parents' generation would say about the 60s, I say the same thing about the 90s. From what I've been told, I had a good time.
That's awesome. Emma, I want to know if I was going to ask if Emma has a question, because if you got on from England, we want to know if you have any question. Even if it's been asked before, I will answer it.
And that's right. Yes, my niece Hurts asked a couple of times, a favorite Ace solo or song? And I assume he means Ace Frehley.
I'm assuming so as well, and I don't know, actually, to be honest. I mean, we're talking about Kiss here, right?
Kiss or a solo career?
I never followed either. You know, they were always big, but they just, please forgive me. I come from Israel. I wasn't here till 2003, and I don't think Kiss was as big in Israel.
Well, Gene Simmons will tell you he's big in Israel.
Well, maybe, compared to who? But keep this in mind, please. Bon Jovi, I didn't even know Bon Jovi. For me, Bon Jovi was Keep the Faith.
Right.
I didn't even know they had a career before that until I became a fan. Another one, Van Halen. To me, Van Halen was Van Hagar.
Right.
I never knew. To me, it was like from me, the first time hearing Van Halen was Dream Another Dream. I'm not sure what the name of the song is, but Dream Another Dream, this dream is over. That one was my first one, and I was just like, what the fuck is that? I mean, so when I came here, and I wasn't a huge fan of the band. But I bought their CDs and stuff, but I was never like a diehard fan. I was just a fan of the music. And when I came here and people started mentioning Panama and all these different songs and Hot for Teacher, and I was like, huh?
Yeah.
So that's where I come from. So please forgive me for not knowing Ace's material.
Quite all right. So my niece Hurt says Kiss or solo for sure. That's your homework. Listen to some early Kiss.
What's early Kiss? What album am I listening to?
Listen to, you know what? Listen to the first Alive album.
First live album?
That's really what put them on the map. They were struggling as recording artists, but they first brought out that first live album, which is mostly live. Let's be honest. Some of the crowd noise is pumped in from a Super Bowl, but hey, that's okay.
How it works. It gets you in the mood, right?
Exactly. Welcome to Metalhead Hippie. Good to see you, man.
Metalhead Hippie. Actually, just a side note, our Smash Mouth keyboardist, Michael Klooster, his nickname is Hippie. And by the way, I was going to say this before, drummer Randy Cook, Paul Delisle, the bass player, and Hippie, Michael Klooster, are all Canadian.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's basically 3 Canadians, an Israeli, and a Californian.
That almost qualifies as a Canadian band then, I'd say. Majority rule.
I agree.
Hey, Michael LePants, good to see you, man. And Emma said she didn't have a question, just popping in to say hello.
I saw Emma. Well, thank you so much for popping in.
Nice.
Favorite
Great Manzini is here. Awesome.
What? So
Robot Master Switch.
SD Design wants to know favorite Woodstock type Smash Mouth gig ever played. What does that mean? Do you mean like
I assume like a festival gig?
Oh well, dude, we did so many. We had the Under the Sun tour with Smash Mouth and Sugar Ray and other bands. We were to the 2 Constants, and we had Gin Blossoms and so many other ones. We did that for 3 years straight. We did so many of those. I don't remember the venue, but I think it was the first one we ever did of those, 2013. I'd have to look it up on my website. I have past shows. I believe it was in Washington, D.C., and it was, believe it or not, 80,000 people.
Wow.
It was like a crazy weekend. It was like 4th of July weekend or something, and it was just like everyone in D.C. came to that event, and it was just, as far as the eye could see, people. That was one of my favorites. Yeah.
And you're like, this should be fun.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And now when you were doing those tours, was it flying in or tour bus or?
When you're doing those tours, it's tour bus. Yeah. When you're doing a legit tour for over a week and it makes sense financially to get a tour bus, that's usually what you do.
Right.
When it doesn't make sense, because you're paying a driver, you're paying for the bus. When it doesn't make sense, you just fly people around and put them up in hotels. It's just a financial thing.
Nice.
Someone said, incidentally, if you like Eddie Van Halen riffs, the Japanese band Iron Bunny is bringing them back in new songs. Really? Wow.
Nice.
I have to check it out.
Vandy Man asks, what's it like to play Red Rocks?
Not nostalgic because I didn't grow up with that, but monumental maybe. I mean, it's a big thing, you know, it's a big deal. It was packed too. We did that on 4th of July, I think 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Blues Traveler played that venue, or at least played prior to that venue every 4th of July. It's Blues Traveler. So that 4th of July, it was the Under the Sun tour that also had Blues Traveler in it. And it was an incredible experience, a very special experience being on stage and everyone is on top of you.
Right.
Because it's not usually like that. But there you're just like so close to the front, and then everyone is everyone's so close.
Nice. Metalhead Hippie asks if you are a Ministry fan.
No, but not because I don't appreciate them. I'm just, again, things were big and not big in Israel. You know, I mean, Spice Girls, that was huge in Europe. Ask me if I'm a Spice Girls fan. But
industrial music, not as much.
No, I make a lot of industrial music, and I feel like for like games and TV and film, I do a lot of that.
Sure.
And I feel like that's more of a Nine Inch Nails thing for me. But not Ministry.
I'm not saying that's where Trent got it from, but
yeah.
Not that I was listening to Ministry long before Nine Inch Nails appeared on the scene, but I'm just showing my age. Because also Emma says, yeah, oh man, I love Blues Traveler. I actually got to see Blues Traveler as the show opener at Canadian National Exhibition opening day in 1993. I think there was about 65,000 of us. And an unknown band called Blues Traveler hit the stage where their frontman was still in a wheelchair from his motorcycle accident.
Wow, I didn't even know he had a motorcycle accident. Shows you what I know.
Well, see, and that was the thing. We didn't know about him. And then it was like 6 months later when their first single hit and broke big. And I see the video and there's no wheelchair. And I'm like, I don't like this band. You know, like, why'd they kick out the dude with a wheelchair? Like, what's up with that? You know, I held it against them legit for like 6 months until they read an article saying, yeah, I toured in a wheelchair for a year because of this bad motorcycle accident. I'm like, oh, okay, sure.
Oh, you know what?
Hey, Christopher.
The question before, who do I like? Again, not a new band, but Foo Fighters. That's like my ultimate band to play with. I'm really dying to play with them. And I love that band. Such a fun rock band.
Yeah. And they still keep that garage band attitude.
Amazing. Love them. And I've met most of them, and they were all super nice. Can't say, you know, I haven't worked with them, but they're all super nice in person.
Sure.
Craig.
Yeah. Asking about Macmil guitars. Have you played any of Tal Macmil's guitars?
Yes, and then I want to answer Unfucking Believable before that or after that, but I have not played Macmul guitars. I've spoken to him online, and my friend Peter Roth, which is a huge guitarist in Israel. Well, actually, yeah, I'm going to show you. I just got him a present. I'm going to show it to you because you guys will appreciate it. He told me he just got one. He's like, dude, you have to check these guitars out. Unfortunately, I haven't been in Israel for a while, but Macmul said if I should swing by when I'm there. So when I'm there, I will.
They are great guitars. I played a few of them.
Oh, yeah? No, well, I mean, I don't know. The Shabbat guitars are... I mean, here's the deal. If you've only played Fender guitars, any of these custom Shabbat guitars, Macmul guitars is going to blow your fucking mind. So I already have... It was
like playing a Sir, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. They're just on a whole nother level. Yep. So, so compare the Macmul to Sir.
Yeah, I'd say they're pretty on par with each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole different level. No offense to Fender. These are all based on Fender, respect, but they're just on a whole different level.
Yeah. Like you have to compare them with Fender Custom Shop.
Basically. Yeah, exactly. That's the closest you could compare them to.
Hey, Brad Miller. Good to see you, man.
Most memorable gig, unfuckabelievable most memorable gig. How does Sean vamp when everything goes wrong on stage? And I still want to show you that guitar. Don't let me forget. You guys will appreciate it. It's a very special guitar. So most memorable gig, there are a few. First of all, playing Parque Hayalkon Park in Israel a few years ago with Enrique to 45,000 people it's that dream, you know, you want to become a rock star and you want to go back to the state that you were from, the town that you were from. We all have that dream coming back like a fucking rock star. And that I actually did that. It was incredible.
Just hoping all your haters from school ask you for those VIP tickets.
And they did. They absolutely did. They absolutely did. Nice. That's the most memorable gig. The other one is playing to 85,000 people in Kiev a few years ago with Enrique. The reason why is, first of all, it was an incredible show. It was an incredible show. But I played the whole show without feeling my fingertips because it was 30 degrees. It was an outdoor stadium, and it was 30 degrees. And if anyone here has ever played in that kind of temperature, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Like, you can't feel your fingers. You're going based on memory and how the neck feels here. And you can't feel the pick. So it's all based on muscle memory, and it went well. It was good. Hang on, let me grab that guitar.
Sure.
So this guitar, as I mentioned, my friend Peter Roth plays for a band named Monica 6 in Israel. I grew up on Monica 6. Monica 6. And then I got to be their stage tech. I grew up on their first album, loving them. It was a classic in the 90s. And then at the end of the 90s, they put out another album, and I ended up working with them for 4 years before I left Israel to come to LA, become a rock star, work on becoming a rock star. So recently I was talking to Peter. He's, like I said, an incredible guitarist. And he told me, he said, hey man, if you ever, do you know Hondo Guitars? Anyone here ever heard of them? Have you heard of them?
Yes. Yeah.
So he said,
channel sponsor Ardens Music actually sold Hondos back in the 80s when I started playing.
So he said that his first guitar, I believe that his dad bought him. I think I'm remembering that is a Hondo guitar. Is this guitar?
Oh wow! Look at that.
It's in pristine condition. It's called, I think it was the Deluxe Series 780. Deluxe Series 780, and he sold it at a certain point and said he's been looking for it forever. Okay. So I found him one on Reverb and bought it. Awesome. And now and bought it for him. So now I'm sending it back to him. It's a beautiful guitar. Gorgeous.
Great shape.
I'm sending it back to him. Actually, I have a session. I have an Israeli producer that's going to be here next week. I have a session with him. And then when he goes back, he's going to take this baby back. Let me just put her away. I don't want anything to happen to her.
Beautiful. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hello to Christopher joining us here. And who else did I see sneak in here? Jason Lindholm. Good to see you, man. Hobo Roadie. Awesome. Mickey Brooks.
I am back.
Nice, nice.
Who do we have? What do we have?
What did I see here?
Guillotine Guitars.
Somebody asked if you attend the NAMM show each year.
I do. So I don't want to forget the Guillotine Guitars, but I do attend the NAMM show when I'm in town. Most years I'm out of town on a gig, which is the best reason to not attend the NAMM shows because you're too busy working. So I'll take it. But if I'm in town, I always come, and Shabbat Guitars always gets me an artist pass or whatever. So I come in for that.
And do you perform at their booth at all?
I don't perform at anyone's booth. No one's asked me to. And to be honest, I don't really want to. So.
Well, you don't want to play in a room full of other guitar players? Come on.
Exactly. I've gone to Shabbat Guitars. Shabbat Guitars doesn't really have performers. It's just a bunch of friends that come and jam. I've gone there and jammed, but
I volunteered for LPD Pedals this year and then regretted it the first day when I wait, what was I thinking? You know.
Let's see here. So what is it? Guillotine Guitars? I've never heard of them. I'd love to know what that is. Have you ever met or owned?
I'm not familiar. And Greg Vanzini has to head out. See you, man.
See ya. Thank you for coming in. What else?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was Ben Tom that asked that. Pete Thorne has a great Les Paul Burst replica made by Guillotine, and it looks and sounds killer.
Yeah. Les Paul. I haven't had a Les Paul in a while. I actually, believe it or not, I have a Les Paul being built for me right now. I'll show you guys a preview. First time someone's seeing this. I haven't shown anyone yet.
Nice.
By a gentleman, I forget where he is, but he's building it for me with the point that if I love it, I'm buying it, and if I don't, then I'm just sending it back. But he wants to take a chance on me, and I'm happy to take a chance on him because I sold my Les Paul a while ago to Hard Rock Cafe. So this, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Les Paul that's being built for me right now. Let's see. I wonder, let me see if I could turn this off if you can see it better. No, it's not going to work. No. Anyway, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful guitar. Actually, let me see if I turn down the screen display. Yes, that looks like it might work. There we go.
Look at that. Hang on, we'll solo you here. There we are. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. And I'll tell you what it is. So that is, let me turn this back up a bit so you guys can see me. That is, I believe he's using cherry wood for the body, solid cherry wood for the body, and maple top, cherry body, mahogany neck, and rosewood fretboard.
Beautiful.
Since y'all,
yeah, it's probably gonna sound great too. That's a nice wood combo.
Yeah, and the reason that I met him because someone told me, "Hey man, have you ever tried his guitars? They're really good." And I was like, "I haven't, and I don't need guitars." And actually, we were talking, and he's like, "Man, I'd love to make you something." And I was like, "You know what? Let me give him a shout out too." Because I have heard really, really great things about his guitars. I'm trying to remember what the name of the company is.
Yeah, we'll give him a shout out. Maybe get one of the mods to find a link to
Travis Bernard, Traverse Music. So it's like Traverse Music, TRAVERSE Music, and he makes guitars and he does a bunch of different things. But really, really nice dude. And someone told me he makes great guitars. He wanted to make one for me, and I said, I don't really need one. I'm good. Like, I've got about 20 something guitars. Like, I'm not really I am looking for a baritone. Probably should. No, I spoke to him about that. He said that's a different neck scale and stuff. I have a baritone here. Schecter, I don't like it. Avi Shabbat is going to make me a baritone. He promised. It's just taking time because he's busy. But the one thing that I didn't have is a Les Paul. And I was like, well, I mean, if you want to make the Les Paul, let's give it a shot. And he's going to make that, and it'll be really great. What else?
And I think baritone, actually, the limited run is sold out, but RJ Ronquillo, again, to bring him up, did a limited run Revolta baritone, which is Revolta are built in Korea, final Q&A here in America, owned by Dennis Fanos, who owns Novo Guitars, and he did an RJ signature kind of color scheme, which was teal guitar with pink plastics.
Wow. I want to see a picture.
Very Miami Vice. Very Miami Vice.
One of the mods find that on Google. I want to see that guitar.
And Terry found the Traverse Music website or Facebook page. Thank you, Terry.
Great. Thank you, Terry.
Yes, RJ is very 80s based, and the thing just looked amazing. But yeah, Revolta does make a great baritone guitar.
Revolta, just spelled that way, yes, I'm assuming?
Yeah, Rivolta.
Revolta.
And I think they're also
they're
tied
very,
in.
very interesting looking.
Yeah, they're also tied in with Eastwood, who and all that stuff. I think it's all built at the Duesenberg plant in Korea, as I recall.
Wow. Yeah, it says here Revolta Eastwood Guitars.
Yep.
You're
and
correct.
Eastwood is technically a Canadian company, which reminds me, I
gotta love Canadians.
I'm due to do another demo for them. That's what I was just thinking that. I got to hit them up, see what they want demoed.
Is pizza, so SD Design.
Is pizza really better in New York than LA?
I have to say yes. I have to say yes. I've never had a bad pizza in New York. They're all pretty fucking incredible.
Yeah.
To be honest.
There are a few good places in LA. I can't think of the names off the top of my head, but ironically enough, I watched a podcast last week where they were talking about pizza in LA. And it's all transplanted New Yorkers that are now running pizza places in LA.
Yeah, I can say. You know what? One of my favorite pizzas when I grew up in Israel was called New York Pizza. It was downtown in Jerusalem, and that was my favorite one. It's nothing like New York Pizza, to be honest.
Now, that sounds like something out of the Zohan movie, right? Just this place called New York Pizza.
Yep. Or no, it was called Big Apple Pizza. Big Apple Pizza, my bad. But yeah, and they put hummus on everything. No, I'm just kidding. But
thanks, Tommy.
Yeah.
Put a link to RJ's Novo guitar, which is his one-off Novo guitar, which I got to play at the party where he was presented last year. That was an amazing night. And that thing, it's just awesome looking.
Wow. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, Novo guitars are great if you're into a traditional kind of a Fender offset type of vibe, but everything's made out of tempered pine bodies. Dennis, the company owner, usually does any rollicking himself.
Wow.
Beautiful stuff.
Very cool. How do I clicked on it and now I can't see people's comments because it's showing me, how do I get rid of the video? Like I see the video and then I don't see anyone else's comments. There goes that. Fuck.
Zach Thong says, come December, he's going to be a 9-minute drive away from Ardens Music in Trenton, which, for those who know, Trenton is the town I lived in until about a year ago. And I just moved one town over to the east, and now Zach's moving into my old stomping grounds. So hopefully we'll be able to get together. I did get to meet Zach at an event last year, and I'd love to meet up with him again. He's a cool cat.
Are you, so you're in Ontario?
I am. I'm about 100 miles east of Toronto.
Okay, well. I mean, I've been to Ontario. I just don't remember which show it was.
Probably Toronto.
Well, no, I've been to Toronto, but I've also been to Ontario. I've been to a few places. I just don't remember if it was Smash Mouth or Enrique. That's
Gotcha.
what I'm trying to think about.
I'm thinking you probably would have played Toronto, Ottawa, possibly London, possibly.
In London, Canada?
Yeah, London, Ontario.
London, Ontario. That doesn't sound familiar.
It's weird. They do latch on to concert dates sometimes because it's halfway between Toronto and Detroit, and they do have an arena that I think with floor seating, they could put 15, 20,000 people in there. So it's a nice little stopover in between.
Gotcha. How many people?
About 15 to 20,000 in that arena.
Gotcha. 15 to 20,000. Okay, I thought you were going to say 15 to 20,000. That's a nice size arena.
That's not even professional hockey arena. That's our junior ranks. Wow. The kids, the teenager league.
That's cool.
Yeah, hockey's big in Canada, which means lots of big venues for bands.
Yeah, no shit. Actually, the first time I was there with Enrique, he was sick and we had to cancel our shows. And then we went back and did it the next tour, but no big deal. So I can't see people's comments now, though. So you'll have to tell me if anyone's asking anything interesting. What else?
Fair enough. Let's see. Thanks, Ben Tom. He's putting some more links. He put in my links to my Patreon. Yes, it's early in the month, folks. If you want to become a Patreon to support the channel, you can for as little as $1 a month, or you can be a channel member for as little as $2 a month, because I couldn't go lower than $2 a month. Let's see. Nikki Brooks asks, what's your favorite guitar riff from what song to listen to or play? Sorry if this has already been asked. I've missed a bit of this.
Nikki's my girl from New Zealand. That's a great question, and I usually don't have the answer, but I do have the answer.
Ooh.
And it's a song I did not hear until I came here. It's a small band called AC/DC. I don't know if you've heard of them. And Thunderstruck.
Nice.
That is, Jesus. It's such a good riff, man. That, and there's I mean, there are little riffs here. That's like the main riff. But there's another one. You know Callin' Elvis, Mark Knopfler, Dire Straits? Callin' Elvis, anybody home?
Sure.
He's got what is it? How does it go? Let's see real quick if I remember how to do it. It's a little breakdown riff that he has in it. This is sort of tuned, and it goes, I think it goes. Yeah, it goes.
Nice.
Right? He plays it fast. But it's just so. Beautiful riff. So that's a memorable one. But AC/DC Thunderstruck.
Love it. I was doing some deep dive on AC/DC myself earlier this week. For me, it was If You Want Blood, You Got It.
Oof.
Which is still possibly one of the best show opening songs ever, because that just sets the tone for a live set.
That band, I saw they're doing something new now, or they're having a new album come out, or something.
Yes, a new album and tour by looks things for next year.
That is a band I would love to see, man. I mean, it is, Malcolm Young, who passed away.
Yep, and now we have Malcolm's son filling his role.
Right. So, but still amazing, incredible.
Yeah, you got Brian Johnson's back, Cliff Williams is back on bass, and Phil Rudd is back on drums. So that's like all the long-term members.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, awesome. I would love to see that show.
Hey, Mike Hanford, good to see you. Let's see here. Stephen Douglas says, many LA-based entertainment people, such as Bob Bradshaw, have moved here for work. So I'm guessing Stephen Douglas must live in Pennsylvania, because I know Bob Bradshaw lives in Pennsylvania now.
I was just in Pennsylvania a week ago.
Very nice.
Had a show, believe it or not.
Stephen Douglas says, Bent Tom, it's about 30 minutes northeast of me. Okay, they're kind of talking to each other.
Cool.
Let's see. Here we go. Sexy bearded Viking wizard, the badass Aussie says, piece of trivia. The AC/DC song Whole Lotta Rosie is about a woman from the town I live in now, and she is still alive and kicking. Funny he mentions that, because I watched a YouTube video on Malcolm Young talking about that song and the origin story of that song, and that's why they have the big inflatable Rosie during the concerts, because they thought Bon would have loved that, because they couldn't do that kind of big production when Bon was in the band.
Damn. AC/DC. I'm seeing the comments now, just not separately, but AC/DC is a loud show. Yes, protect your ears, people. Protect your ears. Hell's Bells, another amazing one.
Brad Miller's one to throw it there because he's from the Tampa Bay area, that the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup recently. There you go, Brad.
You know what? Another someone said, Terry said, yes, new album coming out. But that reminded me, the band Yes. I didn't know what prog rock was. I didn't know they were a prog rock band. I just knew the album, the Owner of a Lonely Heart album.
Right.
And I listened to that all the time when I was young. I don't know if it affected me as a musician, but it's burned in my brain. It's ingrained in there.
Yeah. See, I grew up with the sound of prog rock, even on the radio, because I grew up with Rush.
Of course.
Being played on the radio all the time. So
makes sense. Yeah.
Great stuff. Let's see. Unfucking Believable says Rush, Primus. I can appreciate Primus so much because I don't know what the hell Lair Lalonde is doing on that guitar. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. It's awesome.
I never really, neither of those really made it to Israel, to Europe that much.
Sure.
I know Rush from here. I really don't know Primus that well. SD Design, does Sean play football? I'm assuming you mean soccer because of the picture. But I used to play soccer a lot. Never played American football. I actually don't know it. And I haven't played sports in forever, probably like 25 years or so, because I need these. And it's just a little dangerous for me. It's the same reason why I don't go and do any what is it called, like snow sports and skiing and stuff like that. I don't do any.
Honest, you just don't like the cold, and that's okay. I don't like the cold either.
No, I'm a big fan of the heat. I like the weather here in LA. That being said, I can stand the cold when I'm dressed for it. And a little knowledge about me is actually over a year ago, I became a hunter for the purpose of getting my own food. Like the idea of getting my own food is very attractive to me. Like if I'm going to be eating meat, I want to go through the hassle and be in 20 degrees weather and work my ass off to get that food. So that's where I come from. So in that case, cold is okay because you're striving to something. But other than that, no, I'm not big on the cold.
Nice. Welcome, David Ennis. And we got TWF 7847, Ted in the house. Awesome. Excuse me. I was just thinking, I remember loading into a gig and I checked the app on my phone and it said -2. And I went, no, because we have Celsius here. And then I realized my phone was actually in Fahrenheit and it was -2 Fahrenheit for load in.
Oh.
Yeah. And of course I brought a guitar with a nitro finish and I'm like leaving it in the warm van as long as possible. Gave it to my roadie and I'm like, take this inside and place it away from the door, please.
My God.
I was expecting the finishes fall off.
Someone said, any fans of Buckethead here? Absolutely. I am. String action, unfucking believable string action, height preferences, lower for speed or high to dig in. As I mentioned before, I'm not a shredder. I dig in. I play really hard. If you didn't see before, I will show you again. This is what happens to guitars when I play. So this is what I do to guitars. I play very, very rough, very hard. And so I keep my action, I think, pretty high. And I also bend a lot. So, yeah, not for speed, not me.
Nice. I like Invading Man says here, gets his own meat, kills a guitar. He's Canadian.
Right?
Sure.
Speaking of which, have you had Phil X on yet?
I have not. However, it's funny you mentioned that because I was at NAMM this year. And, of course, I'm wearing one of my T-shirts with the logo. He comes up the stairs. I didn't realize he had one signed with Gibson that day because I think it was the first day of NAMM. So he comes up the escalator with his entourage and 40 other people to go play his set at the Gibson room, which he was doing every day. And I just saw him, and me being shameless way, I'm like, hey, Phil X, fellow Canuck with guitars. And he saw the shirt and he's like, Canucks with guitars, that's awesome. So we take some photos together. And I don't even think, there's 50 people waiting, like, come on, Phil, we got to go. And we talked for a minute. And he said, yeah, I'd love to do an episode, but I have, of course, then he takes off and I have no way to reach him or anything.
There's got to be a way to reach him on his website, right?
Probably.
Or through, dude, just have Pete, you're cool with Pete Thorne. Just have Pete Thorne reach out to him. I used to be cool with Phil. I haven't spoken to him in years, so it wouldn't be cool. Like, hey, dude, Ben, like, I just haven't spoken to him in years. I haven't seen him in a long time, but yeah, he is awesome. I hope you have him on. He's such a cool dude. Terry, by the way, nice copperhead headstock. Thank you. That's Shabbat. That's his design. Not his design, but that's what he chose to have on these.
I dig it because it reminds me of was it the very early prototype Fenders had a 3 on a side like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what, like, when I was grabbing a photo for the thumbnail for tonight's show, and I'm like, is he playing an OG broadcaster? And I'm like, no, that looks like a Cabernita body. It's like, yeah, all right, well, this is perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to see when talking gear.
Personally, sexy bearded Viking wizard, the badass Audis. We have to find like what is it called when you take the first letter of each one of those and create an acronym? We have to find an acronym for that. But he says, personally, I prefer non-shreddy guitar playing. I'd rather hear fewer notes played with feeling and more melodically. That's my style. I'm a slow hand, man. I grew up on Clapton.
Sure.
I can't play like Clapton. I mean, Clapton sounds like Clapton, but yeah, I listened to Dream Theater. I listened to a bunch of different bands that I grew up on, but I don't know. I love listening to people play fast. I just don't play fast. It was never my thing. I'm a melodic guy. When I'm creating solos, when I'm creating parts and productions, I'm playing melodically. That's what I want to do. Yeah.
All right. See you, Metalhead Hippie. Yeah. Metalhead Hippie's starting his show in a few minutes. Everyone should check it out once we wrap up.
Yeah.
We'll be showing some cool videos and growing that YouTube guitar community. It's awesome. Metalhead Hippie. It's like MTV, except the YouTube guitar community is his content. So he just promotes all of us.
MTV 1990 or MTV 2020?
1990.
There you go. That's awesome.
When we all stopped watching MTV, basically.
And when I started.
Yeah. Well, see, I remember Smash Mouth on our version, Much Music. And then, not much after that kind of thing. That was kind of.
I remember Smash Mouth in Israel.
Mid-90s, kind of thing.
SD Design mentions Gilmour. How could I forget about Pink Floyd, man? I mean, sure. I grew up on Pink Floyd and absolutely had a huge influence on my playing. Huge influence. Yeah. How could I forget? And, years later, I think I was here already watching. I may still have been there, but watching Gilmour play with, like, he was. Oh no, it wasn't Gilmour. The bass player,
Roger Waters.
Yes, Roger Waters' show. I forget where it was, but he had Doyle Bramhall III or whatever play for him. You know who I'm talking about?
Yep.
Dude, that guy. Fuck him in Snowy White. Was that his name? Does that sound familiar? Let me check that out real quick. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Snowy White guitarist, something like that. Yep, Snowy White. That's his name. It was Snowy White and Doyle Bramhall going back and forth for Comfortably Numb.
Oh, nice!
Unbelievable. And then years later, I was in Guitar Center, and this is why I think maybe I saw it in Israel. Or maybe when I had just gotten the Guitar Center, but at a certain point, I think probably 2006, I was working in artist relations in Guitar Center Sherman Oaks here in Los Angeles. And sure enough, I was the assistant. I was like the logistics manager. I wasn't really the artist relations guy, but I was working in the artist relations office. And, Joe Walsh comes in there all the time and stuff. And that's cool. Again, Eagles, how could I forget them?
Joe Walsh, Joe Walsh, period.
Yeah.
Who still has the best name ever for a greatest hits album. Look what I did.
That is awesome. Is that his album?
Yeah.
I didn't know it exists.
Or how about the fact that he was bringing out an album? He went to the record exec. He met with the suits, as he likes to call it, and they said, "We need a name for the album." He says, "I don't know," and it came out with "You Bought It, You Name It."
Wow, I like that.
You know,
so yeah,
everyone says alcoholism is a bad thing. Whatever. It makes for great album titles, if nothing else.
He would come in all the time, and he was awesome. But when Doyle, there are a few people that I've gotten. I don't get what's it called when starstruck. I don't get starstruck, but there are a few people I got starstruck from. One was Phil X, and I'll tell you that story in a second if you want to know.
Sure.
But the second one is Doyle. When he walked in there, I was like, that dude looks super familiar. Oh shit. And yeah, it's just crazy to me that I got to experience these things in LA,
Sure.
Phil X. This actually has to do with who I am in Los Angeles and what I've done. It's a lot of information. I'll condense it for you. First show I ever saw in LA was a band called Powder. Do you know who Powder is?
Yep.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, that's Phil X's band with his ex-wife. A friend of mine took me to Hollywood for my first show ever, and I'm in the Key Club that doesn't exist anymore, just going, what the fuck?
Right.
In my mind, I was like, what did I just walk into? I just moved here 3 months ago. I think I may have made a big mistake. That's my competition? Are you kidding me?
Right.
And sure enough, it's not my competition. I'm looking at one of the best guitarists in LA. That he's not my competition. I mean, he is, but he isn't. There's enough music to go around. But that's not every guitarist. That's like a special guitarist. So I was just completely blown away. And then months later, I was following Powder Music and .com, which doesn't exist anymore, but that band doesn't exist anymore, but just loved it, was a big fan, and that guy just blew me away. Years later, I'm at the accessories counter. Months later, I'm at the accessories counter in LA. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, and I dare the moderators to find a picture of Phil X, a link to a picture of Phil X with his hair spiked. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, dear Lord. I can only imagine.
It's basically, Phil's got long hair, he always has, and he spiked it up. Find a picture of that. I dare you. And so that's how I saw him. Basically, this dude is like 6'2", 6'3" to begin with. He's wearing platforms, and his hair is spiked about 2 feet. The dude is over 10 feet tall on stage, playing like a motherfucker. And then they end the show with No, it wasn't that. Yeah, that's Back in Black, but it wasn't that. It was one of the other songs in D. It wasn't that song. He did it in D because that's the Smash Mouth. Just reading something. The song was originally in E. I forget what it was. But anyway, he ends the show with that, and he sings, and I'm like, are you kidding me? The guy can play like an insane guitarist and perform amazingly, and he can sing like that. So no, it was Back in Black because Back in Black, I can't even sing it. So months later, I'm standing at the accessories counter, and a dude comes in with his hair down, long hair. Let's see, image collection. I can't. It's not. But there you go. So there's a picture if you want to look it up. So he walks in, and I'm just having a conversation with him. He wants some strings, and I help him out. And I'm like, dude, you look super familiar. Do you play in any bands around here? Because I've been meeting a lot of people and musicians, stuff like that. Thanks, Vandy. Yes, Back in Black. And he says, yeah, I play with my band's called The Drills. And I also play with a band called Powder. I was like, I'd never been starstruck before until that moment. That was my first starstruck moment ever. I've even met people like Foo Fighters singer Dave Grohl.
Sure.
But that moment just blew me away because I was like, oh shit, it's that guy.
Right.
And then, so I told you it's a long story. That's a short part of it. Years later, they were auditioning for a drummer. the guy that took me to that show was a drummer, and he had said to me in 2003, man, I can't wait for them to audition one day. I would love to play for them. Years later, they audition. I knew about it through someone else. I put his name in. He got the gig.
Nice.
So he's playing with Powder. I'm so happy for him. He invites me to come to a drills show. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. He's not playing that one. But a little drummer called Randy Cook is playing that gig with the drills with Phil. And Randy Cook, again, if you haven't watched the last 2 hours, is the guy that got me with Ananalic, that got me into Smash Mouth, a dear friend of mine who's also Canadian and an incredible drummer who I owe so much to because he really got my career started here. And so I see this guy playing drums, killing it. And Randy is playing he's reading charts and playing 170, 180 BPM. And if you've seen the drills, they do their own songs, but they also do medleys. They'll do like 10 songs in a row, Phil X's version of those songs, right?
Right.
So he's reading the charts. It blew me out. He was playing so well, not missing one beat, reading charts, having a blast. If you've ever seen Randy play, he is smiling the whole time, having a blast. And like he'll do things like as he's playing 180 BPM, he'll also just like put one stick here and start playing everything with one hand and fixing his hi-hat at the same time. So I was just like, who the fuck is this guy, man?
Right.
I was like, yeah, Phil X, great. I've seen him play. Who is that dude? Months later, I actually got a chance to play with Randy, and the rest is history. We became really good friends. He brought me on a few gigs. He was impressed with my ability to come in, do my homework and everything. And that's why he recommended me years later to Ananalic, which I went to an audition for and got it. That's why years after that, he recommended me for Smash Mouth without an audition. He's like, he can pull it off. He'll do the job great. Let's get him on. And I really owe that dude my career because
awesome.
And that all started because of Phil X blowing my mind.
Well, and we'll add in one other caveat. Friend of the channel, he may be lurking because sometimes he's jamming while listening. JJ's House of Jams, my good buddy James, who I stay with whenever I'm in California. When his band kind of broke up in the late 90s, early 2000s, he ended up working at a food catering company alongside Phil X.
No shit.
Yeah, they did food catering together. And so when Phil started, doing well, JJ would run into him at NAMM shows and it's like, sure beats food catering, right? And the guy, Phil would look at him and all of a sudden he'd click, right, James. Yeah, sure beats food catering, So yeah, definitely awesome stuff. And this thing is, as big as the industry is, it's quite small in many ways too.
It really is, man. There are cliques, and the way I know that it's small is because I know everyone in my clique. But the way I know it's big is because I will meet once in a while. I'll meet a musician that has their own 50 musicians that they all play with. They've all been played. He's got his guitarist that he always brings in for sessions. He's got his guitarist that he always brings in for shows. And then let's say he's a drummer, an MD or an MD drummer. And then suddenly he'll get to know me, and he's never played with, or she has never played with my clique. They don't know Randy Cook. They don't even know Phil X. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like it's small cliques that kind of play together. And the reason I actually mentioned this in one of my YouTube videos about getting gigs, it's the hired gun video that I made. Watch it if you haven't yet. Yeah. And I mentioned something really important. Friends like to play with friends. People like to play with people they like to play with. So it's not that you're not good. They just don't know you. They'd rather play with me because they've played with me. They know me. We're friends. They're not trying to hook me up necessarily. You might be a better guitarist, but they have a blast playing with me and I have a blast playing with them. So I'll get that gig. So that's a super important thing to have those friends. Anyway, I talk about that in there.
I do agree. And welcome in Headstock Harem. And I see Thunder Falcon's headed out. See a Thunder Falcon. Awesome. Well, we've broken well past 2 hours here, my friend.
Yes.
How crazy.
We could call it a day. I know you mentioned there was another. Metalhead
Hippie is starting up his show there.
Right, so we got to clear people out so they can go check that out.
Anything you got coming up you're willing to share with?
Hey, Vandy Man's hooking it up.
Dang. Vandy Man. Cheers, community. Thank you, Ben and Sean. Well, thank you, Vandy Man, for putting this together. Definitely.
Thank you. Vandy Man hooked it up.
Yeah, I remember he reached out and he's like, hey, man, do you want to have Sean Hurwitz on? And I believe my reply was, fuck yeah, set it up. Yeah.
You asked a question right before Vandy Man's generous
contribution. Yeah, anything you got coming up that you want to promote, plug? I know you're probably not doing too much in the way of gigs right now.
Yeah. So I'll say this. I don't really have that many gigs coming up. I will say, I'll just sort of mention this again. My website's SeanHurwitz.com. I'm very easy to reach. There's even an email there to reach me. If anyone has questions, you can reach me out on YouTube. I am a wealth of knowledge, and I say this without, I'm my head's not in the clouds here. I'm just saying I'm a wealth of knowledge from experience, and I want to help a lot of musicians. So if you think there's someone that could benefit from following my YouTube channel and checking out the business stuff as well as tutorials, as well as anything, please let them know, because my whole thing is helping. I got a lot of help. Randy Cook, Phil recommended. Phil X recommended me for a few things back in the day that I did great on. Like, it worked out really well, some session stuff. And I owe it to those guys, both Canadians. I'm just saying, but I owe it to those guys and to other amazing guys in my career. They really made my career, and I appreciate it. And I want to do that for other people. So if there's people that you think could benefit from that, I'm very easy to reach. If they have any questions, my YouTube, we post stuff on YouTube twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays at this point in time. If there's a lot of content on there, so please tell them to go check it out. And but if there's something I haven't touched on, they can comment, they can hit me up on Instagram. Please, I invite everyone to hit me up. That's all I've got to plug.
Beautiful. I'm just going to add, Charles75N says, been lurking. This has been great. Special super duper shout out to Charles75N, because he's been watching and commenting on about 10 of my videos a day for the last week. He is purely responsible for my recent spike in views. Thank you very much, my friend.
Charles,
believe me, it doesn't go unnoticed.
I hope to see him on my YouTube.
Yes, definitely. And thank you, Ben Tom. Just put another link into your channel here. One last question. Are you up for a part 2, Sean?
Absolutely. Yeah. If people want to know something that I didn't cover, I would love to. Yes.
Awesome. Or just hang.
Or just hang. Absolutely. I'm always there.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot more where this came from. So yes.
It never ends. All it takes is a new product to come out. Hey, what's your opinion on this or that? Right.
Or maybe me trying those LPD pedals.
Yes, definitely. So, if you just want to hold the line here, we'll wrap things up. I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight, whether you're new or longtime subscriber. I love you all. Special shout out to my patrons and my channel members. Shout out to my mod squad and those who donated to the channel. Much love. It does keep the channel going. I will be back at 8 p.m. tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, playing some guitar. Yes, the hands are feeling better. I will be playing guitar live here. We'll see if we get a copyright strike. So I will not be playing Judas Priest. Judas Priest, I'm not allowed to play Breaking the Law, or I'm not allowed, whatever. Anywho's, so thanks again. Thanks, Sean. As always, folks, as I always say, hold those doors open. Let that guy in ahead of you in traffic. Do good things, and good things will happen to you. Karma is real. I'm living the dream. Sean's living the dream. I hope you are too. Be good, rock on, and be good to each other, folks. Cheers.